How you doing, guys? Welcome back. It's LSP. It's currently the 9th of September 2022. So before I get into the analysis today, I just want to quickly emphasize something. I obviously talk to a lot of people in my Discord, DMs, whether it's privately or openly, and I want to make a clear distinction between the content that I'm delivering and my views, okay, and what you as the people that I'm talking to should be doing in the sense of, engaging with the markets, whether it's cryptocurrency or any other asset class. You need to have a plan because many people have been reaching out to me and saying, should I be buying, now? Should I be waiting? It's not my place to say. I keep saying this, guys, and obviously I do my best to give as much information as I can based on my experience. But obviously, I'm not here to tell anybody what to do with their money for obvious reasons. I don't want to be responsible for anybody's money. What I want to do is I want to give clear, definable ways in which you can implement, something into your investment strategy. As I keep saying to people, have a plan, wait for confirmation, make sure that you're engaging in the market safely and so on. This is all good advice. And it's not just from me. There's many people out there that give the same advice. Make sure that you're taking this on board and make sure you have a plan when you're engaging in the markets, because right now we're getting a pump on the markets. We can see, if I just drop down to the daily chart and I just drop down to the daily chart of both of these, this is Binance, this is Bitcoin usual. We can see we've had a really nice response. But where are we responding from? If you look at this broad range consolidation on Bitcoin, everything points to that it is waiting to see what happens with everything that's happening in the world in terms of the news, in terms of the rate hike at the end of the month, in terms of some of the other things that are happening with Mt. Gox and so on. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in the marketplace, which could effectively send Bitcoin, screaming to the downside or exploding to the upside. Personally, with the overall market direction and the underlying weakness in all markets globally, it is likely that Bitcoin is going to continue going to the downside. And there's a lot of reasons for that to happen. But for us, in terms of confirmation, it's so important that we wait for that moment in time that makes sense for us. For me, it doesn't make sense right now to be engaging in the markets. This is why I'm taking a step back. For others, it makes perfect sense because it fits their investment style and strategy. Everybody does things completely differently. So make sure whatever it is that you're doing it based on whatever makes sense for you. So we've had a nice run on Bitcoin, but again, make the clear distinction between this run on Bitcoin and the run on Binance. Binance is amplified in its ranges. It's so easy to look at Binance and think Binance is so much stronger. It has, it's losing its correlation between, itself and Bitcoin. It's slowly starting to pull away. It's slowly that kind of relative strength is becoming more pronounced. Again, be very careful. I'm not saying listen to me. I'm saying just be careful and make sure that whatever it is that you're doing makes sense for you. For me, I see this really nice run, on Binance at the moment, and I made a reference to these levels up here. Okay, these two highs, basically 337 to 338. I posted the tweet obviously on Twitter, and I did this before because if price runs into these levels, okay, and if I just I want to show you something on the weekly chart, right? This looks pretty strong. Okay, forget this 148 level for now. That's going to stay where it is for now, but this looks pretty strong, and this is the level that I'm making a reference to. Okay, when I made a reference to in that tweet, 337 to 338. This is open liquidity. You can see that we've had a really nice run and it's obviously starting to pull back. Really nice response on that daily liquidity pool, and now we're getting, it dropped into it pretty aggressively, reversed very quickly and voided that first initial move, so it neutralized it, and now we're getting a little bit of follow through to the upside. It is likely that that this will continue. There are some things along these three weekly candles to the downside that could potentially stop price, and give us an indication whether or not this move now is going to be reversed and we go deeper into this liquidity pool. But for now, it's looking like we are going to get a bit more of an aggressive move to the upside to potentially drive towards these levels. But here's the thing. The overall market sentiment and picture is still quite weak and bearish. There are so many things going on. We have the rate hike coming soon. If this happens before the rate hike and it starts to run into 337 to 338, stabilize in that area a little bit before the rate hike, it is possible that on the news or on the rate hike, when they announce and some of the other things running up into September the 21st, I believe it is, then it is very possible that that downside movement, is going to basically null this move, and then we start to drive towards that 200 level again. And again, I'm not saying that this is absolutely going to happen. This is the whole point of confirmation, and this is the whole point of looking at the markets in this way, to make sure that we are keeping safe and engaging with the markets when it makes the most sense. For me, grabbing, and I actually made a reference to this today, and I was talking to people in the Patreon Discord. I was saying I could have made $3,000 basically on this little movement, right? And I did a video for them, and I was just kind of going through a few things. But basically, this right here, okay. So it drops, it reverses, and it shows a real clear, definable holding pattern, right? In terms of what that represents, it's holding there. It's just voided this move to the downside. Bitcoin was confirming this as well. So obviously, the move from 280 to 290 is so easy in the sense of a very, very, very quick trade. All right. But the question is, does it make sense from a discipline point of view? For me personally, yeah, sure, it's an easy trade. You make $3,000. $3,000 sounds like a nice amount of money. It's no small pocket change, that's for sure. But anything can happen at this moment. It may continue. It may go to the 337. Okay, that $3,000 may have been $10,000, whatever. But the point is, if something happens, okay, and Bitcoin reverses, or we get some news, or there's so many variables that could hit the market at any one moment in time, and brings that back down to a level where I don't feel comfortable. So if I grab it at 280 and then it ends up back down at 280, I'm fumbling trying to get out, and I've ended up losing a couple of $100 or maybe $1,000. Who knows? We're dealing with ranges that are really, really tight, and there's just not enough confirmation at the moment for me, to feel comfortable that price is indeed, gonna explode to the upside, stabilize, and then really start to gain some legs and go sort of 300, 400, 400, 500, and so on. All right. So going forward at the moment, Binance is looking pretty strong. Looks great on the weekly chart. Doesn't change the overall picture for me. I still believe, that there are some curveballs coming. I'll be keeping an eye on the markets, obviously, and I will leave you with stay safe. Try not to, invest without a plan. Make sure that you know exactly what it is that you're trying to do in the marketplace. Make sure that you're doing that based on something that you feel comfortable with and something that's planned out, mapped out, and actually makes sense. With all of that said, I hope everyone's having an absolutely fantastic day or evening, wherever you're in the world. And I look forward to speaking to you in the next update. All the best, take care, and ciao for now.